Here's Multi, and welcome to the 20th episode of the season series where we go through every NHL team in their alphabetical order. Because today is the 19th team, it's time for the first new team, or how you wanna say them? It's time for New Jersey Devils. In these episodes, we go through their Wikipedia page, their possible roster that their official website has recommended for us, and then the prospects that may be interesting in the next coming season or maybe somewhere in the future. And if you haven't checked the recent episodes, the episodes that have come before this one, be sure to check them out. There's some interesting info, but now let's get into the New Jersey Devils' Wikipedia page. And here we have it, guys. As usual, little facts and then the season by season record. The team has been founded in 1974 and it played in the Eastern Conference, and they won 3 Stanley Cups, and there are pretty unique players that have been playing there. For example, Marty Brodeur, one of the best goalies in the history of the NHL, and then there's been Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermayer, and then there was this Bobby Halleck and Claude Lemieux. They've all been solid players in the past, but let's take a look at how they qualified in the past 5 seasons, and it's time for the season by season record. And here's the list how they've made. Last season they weren't that great in the Metropolitan Division, 7th overall, and their stats were 32 wins, 36 losses and 14 OT losses. Way too many losses and OT losses. They should get those wins in the OT, but in my eyes the Devils don't have that great team at the moment, so they need to a little bit add up something there, but we'll get to that when we go to the rosters. And in the past 5 seasons they only made it to the playoffs once, and at that season they were very good, even though the I think division or conference spot 4th in the Atlantic doesn't tell that much, but stats in the regular season were decent, 48, 28 and 6, but they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals but ended up losing to the Los Angeles Kings, a team that's been very solid in the past 5 seasons, but that's the only time they've made it there. And I think that's about it, so let's go take a look at their official possible roster. And as usual, I picked some interesting names there that pop up for my eyes. First one being Mike Cammalleri, very experienced left winger it says, but I think he can play in nearly every position in the offensive side. Very good goal scorer. I'm not sure why Ryan Klav, or does he play, or did he retire? I'm not sure. Patrick Elias, another experienced guy for their team. Czech Republican, one of the better goal scorers in the history of the New Jersey Devils, team's legend. Then a little bit younger guy, Adam Henrique. I think he should play in the first or second line for them. Jacob Josephson as well, very young, talented centerman. Stefan Mathieu, left winger. I'm not sure has he played for the team yet in the NHL side, but I think he's been pretty solid in the AHL. And then Paul Saka, their first round pick. Was it last season or yeah, it was last season because he's born 97. A Czech Republican player. I think he played a year in the juniors. I'm not sure, was it Sarnia's team? We'll get to that later. But very talented centerman for them. Was his 6th overall. Travis Jacek, another experienced player for them. There's these solid players that have played them for many years, and then Cal Palmieri, I skipped him, but I think I'll take a look. I think he came from the Anaheim Ducks last season to the New Jersey Devils organization. A very good centerman, but I think he will play in the right wing. A very good goal scorer. And then to the defense. First one being Andy Queen, their assistant captain. Very basic, solid defense for them. Next, Adam Larsson, very solid. I think he was the 2nd overall draft pick for them. I think he hasn't been that great for them so far. He's a pretty tall guy, and because he was picked 2nd overall, he's got some pressure on him that he needs to take his spot on the team. I think he has, but he hasn't been that great defenseman that the organization wished him for to be. Damon Severson, last season I think he had his rookie season for the team. Very solid young right-handed defenseman. I think he's a little bit better on the offensive-minded game. And then the goalie for them, definitely the starting goalie and the first goalie will be Corey Snyder. I'm not sure how many games did he play late last season, but there's Keith Kincaid. It's a decent second goalie. So I think the goalie spot isn't their weakness spot there. But now we take a look at these players. Mike Camilleri was drafted by Los Angeles Kings in the 2nd round in the 01 injury draft last season with the Devils. It was his first season, it seems. He came from Calgary Flames. I didn't even remember that, but 42 points for Devils, and he's got some age on his shoulders, and there's nothing you can do when you get older. That's it. But still a very solid player for them. One of the starting 2-liners for the team, and definitely a goal scorer, as I've said before. And on his best season with the Flames has got over a point a game, and definitely that's his spot to be the point scorer for the team. Then Patrick Allers, 39-year-old Republican, has played his whole career for the Devils. Last season got only 34 points, but on his best season with the Devils has got 96 points. Definitely will not reach that anymore, but hopefully he'll be 60 or 50 point scorer, because I really like his playing style. I think he isn't that tall, but I really like his game. I think he reminds me of Martin St. Louis game. So I look forward to see him play, and hopefully will play yet 3 or 4 seasons for the team. Then Adam Henrique was a 3rd round pick for New Jersey Devils in the 08 entry draft. Like Patrick, has played his whole career with the team. Last season 43 points, and I think he should be the starting first liner for them, because there isn't that many highly rated centermen for the team. But Henrique is still pretty young, in 25, so he's got time to develop, and I think the best prospect that they have on the centerman's position is Pavel Saka, and he will not be the point scorer guy. I think Henrique could be if Camilleri gets his game on. So I think 50 points or 60 points is his best, and his rookie season with the Devils was amazing, 51 points. Jack Josephson he's also played his whole career in the Devils, but hasn't been that solid. I think that's why, because he hasn't been in the top 2 lines. Isn't he ready for that? So that's why they don't play him there. I'm not sure, but I think he's a very talented Swedish centerman, and they should give him some time in top 2 lines, and that's the way how you should like make these guys better. Stefan Mattia, left winger, first round pick for Devils last season, 7 games, and in the AHL he got 27 points and hasn't got that many points on his rookie seasons. So I think he'll be 3rd, 4th or 4th liner for them in the future. Pavel Saka, last season's first round pick, 6th overall, and he did play for Sarnias and got 34 points, so that's decent, but I think he isn't that sort of a points scoring guy, more of a like hitter and that sort of stuff. He's pretty sick, like big, so that's why I think he'll be the hitting, but still a point scoring, well, 40-50 points somewhere in the future, but I think he'll play in the OHL for another season, maybe then in the AHL, so maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and he will go to the team, or the Devils organization may give him an opportunity in the NHL side this season. And then Travis Zajac, was a very solid player for them for many years. Also has played his whole career for the Devils on his best season, got 67 points. I think that's very good for him. He's the 60-point scorer guy in my eyes, but maybe not in the future anymore. I think he'll be the 1st or 2nd line centerman. I think Henrique or Zajac will fight for the first top 2 center positions, and then Elias can play in the wing, and Josephson will try to play in the 2nd line, but will end up playing in the 3rd line in my eyes. But last season wasn't that great for Zajac. I think his season points tell how they played last season. They weren't that great overall and only got 25 points, but a solid center right-handed for the team, and hopefully will play. Kyle Palmieri, definitely a guy that they needed. Hasn't played any season for the Devils yet, but will be, and they look for him to be a 20-goal scorer, even though he hasn't got that many points yet, but he's still pretty young, got time to develop. There isn't that many solid wingers for them after the Kovalchuk scandal that happened there, but that's the way it goes. Hopefully Palmieri will be a 2nd liner for them. Then Andy Green was a free agent and has played his whole career with Devils. As I've said before, a very solid basic defenseman. On his best season with the Devils has got 37 points, and is that like hitting like basic. He doesn't do like special things, but he is very reliable on the defensive side, and someone that many teams would like to have. Adam Larsson, definitely a pretty similar player, but more of a like hitting guy. They don't look for him to be the ultimate point scorer guy as we see in future as we see from the past, sorry, but on his best season was his last season, and he got 24 points. I think that's decent for him, and he's still being on the plus side, which is pretty remarkable on the team that they had last season. But hopefully will be their first line defense for them, because he should get time to play there, and definitely will play in the NHL side. But because he isn't that sort of a point scoring guy, it wouldn't be even surprised if they would drop him the third or second pairing in defense. But like big guy in the first line would be great form for him. Then Damon Severson, last season with the Devils, got 17 points on his rookie season, minus 13. I think that's how the team has got a couple of past seasons. There hasn't been that many goal scorers, and the defense hasn't been that solid. But in a couple of these young guys, in Severson and Larson, it would a little bit bring a light to the young defensemen, and they look for him to be the point scoring guy in the future. Hopefully we'll get his breakthrough season next season. Then Corey Snyder was acquired in the trade, I think it was in the draft day, and has played a couple of seasons for the Devils so far. Very solid goalie for them last season, 26 and 31, but save percentage was decent in 92.5, because the team, as I've said many times, hasn't been that solid for the couple of past seasons. So great goalie for them. I think they played their second goalie for the rest 13 matches, and the only way they can perform well in the next season is if Corey Snyder has an absolutely very good season, because there's no other way that they would reach the playoffs in my eyes. And that's the roster done. Now we take a look at the prospects, and first one being Matthias Tedenby, a right winger. I'm not sure how they play these things, that their positioning and that sort of stuff, because I think he can play either wing. And then Alexander Urbom, there isn't that many prospects as we can see, and definitely many guys that I recognize, but in Tedenby, first round pick for them, and last season didn't play anywhere. That's interesting. Thorough regular season. It seems like he's got some injury problems there. A great-handed player in the offensive side. Hopefully will get his game on, because they need these wingers in the New Jersey. And then another Swedish young player, Alexander Urbom. I'm not sure where they play, because it seems like Urbom hasn't played any games anywhere in the past couple of seasons, so that's a bit surprising for me. But I look forward to see him playing in the NHL, or maybe in the AHL. Hopefully in the NHL. But now it's time for the conclusion. Will they make the playoffs? And in my eyes, they won't. There's so big lack of these wingers in the team. They can't score that many goals. I think they will have a hard season there, and hopefully they will surprise us in some of the new breakthrough seasons in players. For example, Roman Ravarenko might be one. I didn't take a look at him, but I'm not sure. He comes from Belarus, so definitely the bigger guys, same sort of like Adam Larson, if you don't know, and John Merrill and Severson. Hopefully they will be a breakthrough season in the defensive-minded game. And it's going to be hard for Snyder because they've got a pretty young defense there. So Snyder will have a hard time there, just like last season. And the offense isn't that great enough that they would make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, even though many people say that it isn't that tough compared to the Western Conference. But still, with this material, I don't suspect them to go through to the playoffs. But that's it in my eyes. They won't reach the playoffs. And the next time we will take a look at the New Jersey Islanders, how they will end up playing in the next season. And I think that's about it, guys. And remember, you saw nothing. Bye.